Well, a very good afternoon to you. This 5th day of May 2020. Thank you so much for watching NTV at 1. My name is Zainab Ismail. We have all the stories making headlines across the country and beyond. We start here in Nairobi, where the Inspector General of Police Hilary Mutyambai now says that his office will take punitive action against rogue officers following complaints from the public on the continued force of excessive force by the police. He was speaking in his office in Nairobi while issuing protective gear to police officers. The IG also said that his office is still advising his officers on how to enforce the directives. The personal protective gear donated by the police SACO is expected to be distributed to officers as they implement the Ministry of Health guidelines against COVID-19 across the country.
We have been having few complaints here and there, and I want to take this opportunity where police have been involved in excessive actions. Internally, our system has been dealing with that, and I want to report today that I'm very happy. No more complaints from members of public on police, what you have been calling brutality. This is because as management of the National Police Service, we have taken it very seriously, and as we have been working with the members of the Fourth Estate, through you and other channels, we have been able not only to take punitive action on our officers, but also to advise our officers on the guidelines, how we are supposed to enforce these directives.
And as the country battles the coronavirus, governors now want the national government to revoke the monopoly enjoyed by the Kenya Medical Supplies Authority, that is KEMSA. The governor says that the restrictions which limit county purchases only to KEMSA was affecting the delivery of healthcare in the devolved units. Council of Governors Health Committee Chairman Mohamed Kuti and Machakos Governor Alfred Mutua argue that lifting the restriction will also allow competitive bids at the county level. They spoke during an online meeting with the Senate Committee of Health.
KEMSA, as far as I'm concerned, does not have the capacity really to supply all the medicines and all the equipment that are needed to provide healthcare in this country of ours. It's a monopoly that is dangerous. When they are delayed, medicines are delayed, it can even lead to the death of people.
There was a law that was passed that there will even be some penalties for purchasing outside. I think governors did not go down well, and that became one of the major issues that delayed the rollout.
All right, and mass testing for the COVID-19 continues in Likoni in Mombasa County, where residents stand up in large numbers for the Ministry of Health exercise. The county hopes to conduct more testing so as to isolate, treat, and also trace all those who've come into contact with positive 19 cases in the region. Our reporter Kevin Mutai has been keeping tabs on the developing story, even as residents of the coastal city seek to resume back to normalcy, and is joining us live. For more details, Kevin.
Oh, well, of course, yeah, you were very right, Zainab. Yesterday, what we witnessed in Likoni is the total opposite of what health authorities have been battling in Old Town area. We saw 82 people were tested yesterday for COVID-19 in Likoni, and despite even more than 300 people showing up to participate for the exercise. We even saw Governor Ali Hassan Joho, Vita Member of Parliament Abdul Samad Sharif, and even Likoni Member of Parliament Mishimboko, County Commissioner Gilbert Kitio were also among members who were tested, who had their samples taken for COVID-19. And this is despite, the efforts by health authorities rallying residents of Old Town to also have the same spirit and participate in the mass screening exercise in Likoni. That particular exercise was launched approximately 6 days ago, but the authorities have been, however, complaining about the numbers in terms of people voluntarily showing up for the exercise. We even had a few of them even openly declining to participate in the process, as some even say that they believe that there's no virus in the area, as well as there's no person who's succumbed to COVID-19, despite the government even confirming that a total of 7 people have died from coronavirus in Old Town alone. And it is an area, according to health authorities, a place that is leading with over 50 confirmed cases for COVID-19. And these figures were reached at after for the last 4 days, approximately more than 200 people have been tested from that particular area, against a target of more than 18,000 residents from Old Town alone. According to the County Commissioner Gilbert Kitio, he reiterated yesterday that there are more measures that are currently being discussed by the county's Emergency Response Committee on COVID-19 here in Mombasa before they forward some of these representations to the national government for consideration. And perhaps we're expecting to see a lot of action happening in Old Town area. And of course also the health authorities, despite even testing 82 members of the public in Likoni, their area of concern is at Shika Adabu. Shika Adabu is where, according to one of the officials I spoke to from the health department here in Mombasa County, they decided to take that particular exercise to that particular area because the Ministry of Health confirmed 1 person who had tested positive in Likoni. So these are areas that have a huge cluster of people living together, and this is also a worrying issue that the Ministry of Health is raising over the homestead setup, where you find people sharing things. These are informal settlements, so they are worried if at all they do not come or rather trace these particular contacts, positive cases in this region, then definitely they expect a lot more cases to be witnessed. And of course also this was another thing, Zainab, is that there are lots of businesses that have taken a hit since the outbreak of COVID-19 here in the region. The hotel industry is reeling big. Some big hotels here in the coast region have closed their businesses, sent their employees away either on leave without pay, or indefinitely suspending their workers from work. This is because there's no one coming into their places to either seek accommodation or even activities. And for some of the small eateries, we are seeing that some are opting to go on with selling foodstuff on takeaway basis because they are unable to meet the guidelines set by the Ministry of Health, which one of them to state is that if one is required to continue with business, then they have to take all their employees to a mandatory 14-day quarantine after being checked. So incurring all those costs is what the business owners are worried about, even the residents. But of course we've had the leaders saying that they will come forth and even help those who are vulnerable and they cannot be able to pay or rather meet the costs that at the quarantine. So we'll be covering all that you need to know here in Mombasa and the entire coast region with regards not only to COVID-19 but other happenings that are happening here in the coast. Back to you, Zainab.
All right, thank you, Kevin Mutai from the coastal region. Of course, we'll be getting more details later on. Now, Kenya has launched investigations into the shooting down of a light aircraft in Baidoa area in Somalia. The plane, believed to be carrying aid supplies for use in the fight against COVID-19, was shot down, killing all 6 people on board. Among those who perished in the incident were 2 Kenyan pilots and 4 Somali nationals. The aircraft has been conducting humanitarian operation in the region. The families of the 2 pilots who hail from Mombasa are pleading with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to not only expedite investigations but also bring the bodies of their loved ones home. And 164 people have died, with over 100,000 households displaced by floods in different parts of the whole country. Devolution Cabinet Secretary Eugene Wamalwa gave the status report during an official tour of Budalangi, which has been affected by the floods. Homes have been destroyed and hundreds of families displaced. NTV's Judith Cherono reports.
Some residents of Budalangi have moved to higher grounds in a bid to escape the wrath of the floods, which have displaced hundreds in the region. Those in the camps are now concerned about the lack of food and have been appealing to the government for help. Devolution CS Eugene Wamalwa, under which the critical issues falls under, visited the area on an inspection tour. The CS gave a status report of the country under the ongoing rains.
Pale daraja zimeharibiwa, tunataka tuhakikishe wizara inayohusika ya barabara tayari. Osieko tumeona timu iko on the ground tayari wako wanashughulikia hiyo daraja. Tumekuwa Kisumu juzi, daraja iliyokuwa imekatika tayari as we speak imerekebishwa, na hata maeneo ya Shibale tutaenda huko, hata upande wa Tongaren tunaelekea huko kuhakikisha ya kwamba tunafanya marekebisho ya haraka.
The CS assured the residents of government support, adding that they would receive food rations and other basic items. Wamalwa appealed to all Kenyans living along rivers to move to higher grounds.
Tuko kwa tabu. Hatuna mahali pa kwenda. Hatuna makapera. Hatuna chakula.
Ilikuwa tujenge bawa tatu, 3 dams. Moja Tongaren, moja Lugari na moja Webuye. Hizo zikijengwa ndio zitakuwa suluhisho ya shida ya Budalangi. Hizi dikes bado maji itajaa na overflow.
Judith Cherono, NTV.
Meanwhile, flooding in Baringo South could lead to a humanitarian crisis as increasing water levels have not only swept away their homes, but their crops and livestock as well. Well, according to the authorities, over 10,000 people have been displaced, with nearly 200 hectares of land destroyed. Insecurity in the area has also poured a wave of additional challenges on the residents. Tents and food are also scarce, and the people are now appealing to the government to intervene. The affected residents say they are in dire need of medical and food supplies. There are fears that more families will be forced out of their homes as the water levels continue to rise due to the ongoing rains. Now, Lake Naivasha has recorded unprecedented water levels due to the ongoing rains, with projections that it could rise further in the coming days. Flower farmers, hoteliers, private individuals and institutions are counting losses from the floods. The flooding has seen all the 4 landing beaches submerged, while residents of Kihoto Estate, which borders the lake, have been advised to relocate to higher grounds. According to David Kilo, who is the chairman of the Lake Naivasha Boat Owners Association, the ongoing rains, mainly in the Abadeas, were responsible for the current flooding. Pollution in the lake is also of high concern among residents in the area. Well, the rising water levels of Lake Victoria have disrupted businesses, destroyed property and displaced thousands of people living and working on different islands. Today, Red Cross officials, together with Homa Bay County leaders, have visited some of the islands to deliver aid, as our correspondent Bernard Ojuang informs us live.
Well, thank you very much. Just as you said, we are here in Fangano Highland, and as you know very well, following the ongoing heavy downpour currently being witnessed across the country, and also we've seen thousands of people being displaced after their homesteads being submerged by water. What's happening here today? Homa Bay County leaders, in collaboration with the Red Cross officials, have brought here non-food items, at least to the affected families here. And of course, they are saying that in Remba Island alone, over 500 homes families have been affected by the floods. And whatever they are saying something that have contributed to this is because of the high rise of water levels in Lake Victoria. And without wasting time, we'll be talking to Homa Bay County BMU chairman, just to tell us what are they doing here, and so far what's the cause of the damage. Join me here. Could you just tell us what are you doing here today?
Actually, we are working so closely with the Honorable Member of Parliament from Beta when the water level rised and caused a lot of damages in the beach management units in Homa Bay County. we made a call to government and non-government actors. And through her office, she was able to reach Kenya Red Cross, who have been very much positive. And today, as we are walking around, we are distributing to the vulnerable fishermen non-food items courtesy of Kenya Red Cross and the office of the Member of Parliament.
Could you just please tell us the damage?
So far across the country, we are counting on over 300 million Kenya shillings in terms of damages. This includes the boats that have broken up, it includes the engines that have broken down, it includes the houses that have been submerged, it includes household items and several other things.
Well, thank you very much. I'll speak to Homa Bay Mbita. Karibu Mheshimiwa, you are here today at least to distribute non-food items here. Could you just please tell us, these people, they are saying that this is where they stay and they can't move. What's the way forward?
Well, we are here actually to distribute to food and non-food items, but we are also here for two programs. Disaster risk management, but also the corona issue. The people who are not able to move, especially in Remba Island, we are trying to help them to manage until the situation normalizes. But what we will encourage is that if the situation is dire, then they must move, because life is more precious than property. So we are doing two things. In Mfangano Island, the sons and daughters have come together, all from all over the world. Okay. And we have put up a team and we are actually contributing, giving sanitizers and all that. Okay. But for the people in Remba, we are also, which is also part of Mfangano Island, we are giving tents, we are giving foodstuffs, we are giving sufurias and all the other non-food items that would help them resettle.
Okay, thank you, Mheshimiwa.
The courtesy of Red Cross.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa. Okay, you've just heard from the Mheshimiwa Mwili Odhiambo and also Oremo there at the beach, Homa Bay County BMU chairman. And also, you've just heard Mwili saying that when the situation will get worse, it will now force people residing along those islands at least to move, at least to for their safety. And remember, we'll be here to cover this for our subsequent bulletins. Back to you.
All right, thank you so much, Bernardo Juang there. Well, as the COVID-19 infections continue to rise in the capital city, residents of Makadara are a worried lot. The city residents claim they risk contracting more than just the coronavirus, but also other diseases such as cholera. They say a burst sewer line has not been repaired months after it was damaged. The residents say the overflowing sewer holes have formed mini streams outside residential buildings. The situation has deteriorated in the last 4 months, with many residents claiming the situation has forced them to find creative ways to dispose the waste since their toilets have been rendered unusable. The residents want the county leadership to step in and fix the problem in order to avert a medical crisis in the city.
Kuna magonjwa zingine hata sieleweki. Mtu akienda pale atupe mapupu. Kuna mama anakata mboga kwa barabara, atakata nje kama mapupu iko hapo.
Sasa sisi wao nasema tufunge mdomo, na sisi nafunga mdomo, na harufu ya choo bado nasinda sisi.
Zilikuja zikashikana zote. Wakikuja juzi wamekuja na ilikuwa last week Friday. Wakajaribu kuchokora, haziendi. Wakajaribu huko kwa main, sasa hatujui sasa hii shida tutakimbilia wapi. Na wale watu tunakimbilia, hata kuna watu wanaenda huko kuripoti, hakuna any action.
All right, let's take a break here on NTV at 1. When we come back, we'll be bringing you all the other stories making headlines globally as well.
Rashes again? Kiss Kids diapers. Kiss Kids, no rashes. Kiss Kids, no rashes. Bye-bye rashes. Buy diapers. Choose Kiss Kids.
Sonadol Extra imetengenezwa kwa njia spesheli kupambana haraka na maumivu ya kichwa, mwili na hata meno. Sonadol Extra, hakika maumivu yakizidi, pata ushauri wa daktari.
Working from home No problem. Fiber Home has you covered with the fastest and most reliable internet speeds. Get connected today. Kazi lazima iendelee.
Did you know Mwalimu Plus e-tutor provides your child with personalized learning and is free for class 4 and 6. Class 3, 5, 7 and 8 pay 50% or 5 bob a day. Did you know that the Mwalimu Plus system guides children while they work on problems? At Mwalimu Plus, our main focus is on e-learning.
The app is free for class 4 and 6 and class 3, 5, 7 and 8 pay 50% or pay just 5 bob a day. Download the Mwalimu Plus app on Google Play, register and watch your child's performance improve.
Thank you for staying with us. You're watching NTV at 1. 2020's Global Hand Washing Day could not have been celebrated any other way than by urging communities to wash their hands with soap and water as a measure of keeping coronavirus at bay and staying healthy. As the world battles COVID-19 pandemic, young champions of hand washing are doing their bit towards ensuring hygiene in the community, like this one 9-year-old in Kitale.
For a few hours every day, 9-year-old Jabe Zoneveld engages her parents in an exercise that she says is close to her heart, cleaning out used water and juice bottles and filling them with liquid soap. She later hands them to her neighbors in the community. The young environmentalist is committed to a clean environment. This is a message she passionately ensures is spread to her community in Kitale town.
After exams, we had planned to go clean up town and museum. Then COVID-19 came, so I was donated some bottles and soap. So I decided to give out bottle soap.
Her campaign demands that she supplies the liquid soap to a larger population. But as the demand grows, the young girl says that the little resources her parents can offer are also running thin.
Most people are willing to give, but they don't have the money to give. We can't move from one place to another to ask for funds.
Hii mambo ya corona, nitakana watu wanawe waoshe mkono, nikanunua sabuni lita 40, nikaweka kwa nyumba ili tusaidie kwetu. Alipoona hiyo sabuni, akasema mam, niko na machupa nimekuwa nikiweka hapa ni zangu za kucheza, lakini ni machupa mingi. Hii sabuni nyo umeweka hapa. Wale watu wenye ni maskini kabisa hawana sabuni, watatoa wapi? Nataka unisaidie sabuni moja ambayo ni 20 liters nigawanyie watu wengine. Nikashindwa mtoto anasema nini. Nikamwambia mam, sasa hii lita 20 hata ukigawanya kwa machupa hizo ndogo itafikia watu wangapi? Akaniambia tusutaambia marafiki zako pia wanisaidie.
Despite the challenges, she forges ahead, ensuring that people take at least 20 seconds to clean their hands using running water and soap. The first Global Hand Washing Day was held in 2008 when over 120 million children around the world washed their hands with soap and water in more than 70 countries. Since then, community and national leaders have used the Global Hand Washing Day to spread the word about hand washing, build sinks and tippy taps, and demonstrate the simplicity and value of clean hands. Leila Mohammed, NTV.
Well, Africa has reported more than 40,000 cases and about 2,000 deaths so far. Well, despite the growing number of infections in the continent, some African governments have started easing restrictions, which include lockdowns and curfew. Rwanda, South Africa and Nigeria are some of them.
Uganda's President Yoweri Museveni on Monday relaxed restrictions on several non-essential businesses amid ongoing COVID-19 lockdown. Museveni praised his country for successfully limiting the spread of the disease. The lockdown has been in place for the last 45 days, and Uganda has tested 3,845 people so far, and only 89 have been found positive, at least 33 of whom are foreigners. 55 others have recovered from the disease. The president said the country does not have any coronavirus deaths. The Rwandan government allowed limited movement of people and allowed restricted openings of businesses, including restaurants and hotels, on Monday. Citizens have been allowed to move freely from 5 a.m. to 8 p.m. and going forward will need permission to do so later in the evening. Movement between provinces was, however, still not allowed, while schools will remain shut until September. Rwanda was one of the first to impose strict lockdown measures in Africa on March 22nd, when it only had 19 cases and to date has officially recorded 255 cases and 0 deaths. Commercial activities resumed in Nigeria's capital, Abuja, and Lagos and Ogun states after the government announced the gradual easing of restrictions. The Lagos state government said markets for non-food items will be allowed to open on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Food stores will open for business on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. The shops, offices, and markets will only be open between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. Travels between regions will, however, not be permitted. Meanwhile, a preliminary investigation has concluded that mass deaths in a northern Nigerian state were caused by coronavirus. Grave diggers in the state of Kano have reported burying dozens of corpses per day in what the authorities have called mysterious deaths. The Nigeria Center for Disease Control on Friday said the numbers of recorded infections across Kano rose to 219, up from 77 at the start of the week. Kano has in the recent days seen a spate of high-profile deaths, including academics, bureaucrats, businessmen, and traditional leaders. The state has the capacity to carry out just 88 tests per day, which should rise to 300 this week. South Africa has over 7,000 confirmed cases and 7 more deaths, according to the Health Ministry. Last Friday, the government eased into level 4 of the national lockdown and allowed over 1 million workers to return to work after instituting the strict level 5 lockdown for 35 days. In easing into level 4 of the lockdown, the wearing of cloth masks became compulsory for all who are in public. Shops are refusing to serve those who do not cover their faces.
Well, the World Health Organization has reiterated that the new coronavirus is of natural origin after US President Donald Trump claimed he had seen evidence it originated in a Chinese lab. The UN agency also hailed the fundraising efforts of a teleconference of world leaders to boost development of a coronavirus vaccine, but warned that the money raised would only cover part of the ongoing response against the pandemic, saying this virus will be with us for a long time.
Global deaths from the coronavirus pandemic topped 250,000 on Monday, mostly in the United States and Europe, even as both regions slowly moved away from lockdown and while leaders raised billions towards a vaccine.
But just as the number of new cases and deaths is declining in some countries, it's mounting in others. That's why today's pledging event is so important. This virus will be with us for a long time, and we must come together to develop and share the tools to defeat it.
The World Health Organization said Monday that Washington had provided no evidence to support speculative claims by the US president that the new coronavirus originated in a Chinese laboratory.
So we focus on what we know, we focus on the evidence we have, and the evidence we have from the sequencing and from all that we have been advised is the virus itself is of natural origin, and we need to understand more about that natural origin and particularly about intermediate hosts.
Meanwhile, hundreds of Hondurans blocked a highway east of the capital, Tegucigalpa, on Monday to prevent victims of COVID-19 from being buried in a cemetery near their communities. The protesters placed stones and tree branches on the highway 10 kilometers east of the capital. Honduras has reported over 1,000 cases and 8 new deaths. Police used batons on Monday to beat back thirsty Indians jostling to buy alcohol for the first time in 40 days as the government eased further the world's biggest coronavirus lockdown. The government credits its harsh shutdown of almost all activities since late March with keeping the tally of cases to a relatively modest 42,500 with around 1,400 deaths. But it has also caused misery for millions of workers in India's vast informal sector, left suddenly jobless and dealt a major blow to Asia's third biggest economy. All
right, and now let's take a look at stories making headlines in the world of sports. Now, a number of Premier League club doctors have raised a range of concerns with league bosses over plans to resume the season. One issue that the senior medics have sought assurance over includes their own liability and insurance covers if players contract the virus. The Premier League has also been asked to provide some clarity over medical protocols, testing and player welfare. The Premier League is hopeful of a potential June 8th resumption. The 20 club doctors have been holding their own discussions about Project Restart, the label given to plans to resume action, with a view of feeding their thoughts into the Premier League leadership. Now, players at Portuguese clubs, including Benfica and Porto, returned to individual training on Monday as the Primeira Liga prepares for a possible restart of the season during the coronavirus pandemic. Portugal's top flight has been shut down since mid-March by the country's Prime Minister António Costa, who said last week that the Primeira Liga and the Portuguese Cup final were the only exceptions to a ruling that has kept all other professional sport suspended. Porto led reigning champions Benfica by 1 point when the season was suspended, with 10 matches remaining. Now, Juventus star Cristiano Ronaldo flew back to Italy last evening after almost 2 months in coronavirus lockdown in his native Portugal. The 5-time Ballon d'Or winner arrived by private jet from the Portuguese island of Madeira and will spend 2 weeks in quarantine. The 35-year-old played Juventus' last Serie A game, a 2-0 win over Inter Milan behind closed doors at the Allianz Stadium in March 8th, before the Italian football season was suspended amid the COVID-19 pandemic, which has killed over 29,000 people in the country. Juventus have recalled the 10 overseas players as Serie A clubs were given the green light to return to individual training on Monday. Now, luxury car manufacturer Ferrari cuts its 2020 target profit due to the coronavirus outbreak, which is impacting sales and halted the Formula One championship. Ferrari's first quarter operating profit of €220 million was down 5% from a year ago, as an increase in deliveries failed to offset the loss of much of the income generated by its Formula One racing team after races were cancelled. So Ferrari's car business did well, but not quite well enough to offset lost revenue from cancelled races and lower Maserati production. Its 5% decline in EBIT reflects that lost revenue, as well as a less favourable mix of road cars sold in the first quarter of 2019. Well, not very good news for racing fans, but that brings us to the end of our bulletin this hour. Many thanks for watching. Remember, we continue to bring you all the information and updates with regards to the COVID-19. We will be bringing you the live update, of course, the daily briefing from the Ministry of Health. You want to stay tuned to NTV for that. In the afternoon, of course. My name is Zena Bismail. Thank you for watching. Stay safe, stay at home, and stay with us.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
During this period and always, bank different by avoiding interest in all your transactions. If not now, when? Ensure that all your transactions are free from elements of uncertainty and gambling by only investing your money differently. Bank on strong partnerships where generated profits and risks are shared by both parties. Bank on well-being and prosperity. Bank different with Gulf African Bank. Call us on 0711 075 000 or SMS join to 21981. May God protect us. Ramadan
This is NTV.
I help women find independence by training them in fish farming. It's tough on my back, joints, and can cause headaches. Panadol Extra relieves multiple types of pain.
If symptoms persist, seek medical advice.
I help women find independence by training them in fish farming. It's tough on my back, joints, and can cause headaches. Panadol Extra relieves multiple types of pain. Panadol Extra, now with new Optizorb technology to fight multiple tough pains with 3 times more pain-relieving medicine in the first 30 minutes when you need it most. Seeing them support themselves makes any pain worth it.
If symptoms persist, seek medical advice.
Basic protective measures as guided by the World Health Organization. Clean hands frequently with soap and clean water. Cover nose and mouth when coughing and sneezing with a tissue or flexed elbow. Avoid close contact 1 meter or 3 feet with anyone with cold or flu-like symptoms. If you have fever, cough and difficulty breathing, seek medical care early. Avoid raw or uncooked animal products. Help the world put an end to the spread of respiratory diseases by sharing this message with a friend. Message brought to you by Sour Herbal Family Bath Soap.
The COVID-19 pandemic has reshaped the family unit in unimaginable ways. We are all experiencing self-isolation, curfews, quarantine, cessation of movement, and stay-at-home orders. Children are unable to socialize, and schools are closed, leading to a major shift in parenting. The unintended consequences of these measures have led to immense pressure on the family unit, characterized by an increase in gender-based violence, abuse of children, erosion of child protection, and excessive access to the internet. The physical, mental, and emotional well-being of a large populace is at risk, and this is having a negative socio-economic impact. On Thursday, 7th May 2020, the Nation Media Group will hold a live virtual Nation Leadership Forum from 7:30 p.m. on NTV. With the help of a panel of experts, it shall delve into how COVID-19 has affected the family unit and what needs to be done to protect it and ensure it survives and thrives. Nation Leadership Forum. Engaging society, impacting the nation.
By the power vested in me, I now pronounce you husband and wife.
Our world felt like a storybook. We were unstoppable.
She never wavered from the vow she made to me on our wedding day. I wish I could say the same.
The greatest gift a father can give his children is to love their mother.
I'm saying that I never loved you. I'm always going to have to live with the guilt of what I've done to my family and the shame.
Heaviness and a burning inside, it could be heartburn.
Indigestion and heartburn? Eno gets to work in 6 seconds and works on the 6 symptoms of heartburn so you can keep living life non-stop. Eno, fight heartburn and indigestion fast.
NTV.